Hello and welcome back to Section D. We're here at Blacklemoor Barbers in Brighton, and today in the chair we've got Vitamin G.
Yes, bro.
What are we doing with the barnet then, mate?
Jeez. A little fade, not quite a skin fade, but
okay.
Yeah, like a 1.5 or something like
little
that.
1.5
on the
face.
back and sides. Leave the top. Make me look fly again. I'm looking haggard right now.
All right, bro. So let's start this off by you telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Well, yeah, man. I'm Vitamin G, aka Kel Shellington. I'm an artist from the UK, clearly. I'm a rapper and a producer. Not many people know that I produce as well.
Oh, sick, man.
People know me as a hip hop artist, but yeah, I love my grime and 140 and stuff like that, and I experiment with a load of different stuff as well, man. So I wouldn't really want to pigeonhole myself into a particular genre, but yeah, I'm just an artist, man. It really depends on like my feeling, because I feel like that's what music is. It's just a feeling and like a frequency that we're all on and all catching them certain ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
sick, bro.
90s hip hop. I hate even saying that, but you know that's the amount of people that I've showed my music and they're like, oh, you do old school hip hop, and I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so.
All right, man. So I have to ask about the name, Vitamin G. Where does that come from, bro?
Well, I might as well start from the origin story, to be honest.
Let's do it.
Yeah, from when I've been writing, honestly, from when I was about 10 years old, but not seriously, nothing like that. Or like, I'd listen to like tunes that I'm feeling and like sort of mash the lyrics up together and try and like come out of my own sort of steez. But that was when I didn't know I wanted to even do this music thing seriously. And then when I was in secondary school, I used to muck around, have some lyrics here and there with a couple mates and whatnot, spit over the instrumentals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then one time in year 11, I had a little bit of beef with one of my boys. He's my boy now, but like, this kind of brought us closer together. And then you remember like assembly, like Christmas dinner, yeah? So I've gone in mad late, bare stoned, and I've walked in like with two of my other mates, sat down, and my head of years like, oh yeah, we're gonna, someone's gonna get up and do a rap for us. And I'm thinking, who's doing this? And everyone's sort of mad quiet and moving shifty. And my boy, Harvey, shout out Harvey, he's jumped on the stage with like 5 other dons and he's just sent for me, Quite a personal rap about me, So I'm like, all right, say no more. So I've just walked out, like stormed out, like, well first I've been like, well, everyone knew this was about me, and we all snakes. It's like, whatever, I see how it is. So I've cut home now and I've wrote like a fucking 4-minute diss track to Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. And I've said, these were like BBM days, so I've sent it around like a couple of schools. I didn't personally send it around schools, but it's got around a load of different schools and shit, so. That kind of was the origin story. People have been like, oh, you're actually quite sick, you know? I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, I enjoyed that as well. Like, don't get me wrong, there were problems after, like a couple fights and whatnot. That all got resolved. So that's not actually where the name comes from. I think maybe like 15 to 17, I can't really remember what age I was, but within that age range, And I remember I was at a house, well, it wasn't even a house party, it was just like a little like mash up gathering with a couple of my mates, and my boy Bendit, shout out Ben Bowman if you're watching, I remember he was just mash up in the corner, like pretty like non-verbally mashed. And I'm like freestyling or whatever. I can't even remember what bars I was spitting. Everyone's loving it, but he was like, I've got the best name for you, G. And I'm sort of looking at him like, okay, like, what's it gonna be? I'm not really paying it no mind. And then he's just dropped Vitamin G, and I'm like, yo, like a light bulb's just like turned on in my head. I'm like, okay. And then obviously I got an alter ego, it's called Kel Shellington, and that's essentially when I reach my final form, shelling, like machine gun syllable steez. That's the way that's what I could like to know it by. But that basically comes from the fact that I'm mad clumsy. And do you know Keenan and Kel?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, like my boy used to call me Kel, innit? So
really?
I just added on the Shellington part because I thought that was quite a steezy name. So.
Yeah.
When I make beats, I've got that as my producer tag, like Kel going, here it goes. So yeah, that's a little Easter egg for you there.
Nice, bro. You know, a lot of the time you hear people say, I listen to this artist, listen to that artist, but that origin story there is quite more of a sort of
like a raw, organic one. Do you know what I mean? Like proper Marvel origin story, bro.
So what's it like being an artist in the UK, man? Is there better places in the world that you feel like treat artists better and they get looked after a little bit more than the UK?
Oh yeah, I mean, the UK obviously is sick. Like I love being, somewhat love being from the UK and now. Like, it's a bit of it's on its arse a bit right now, but I won't get into no politics or nothing. But yeah, I mean, it is recently it has been a bit of a struggle for UK artists, man, because a lot of independent venues and that, they ain't getting as much. They're not as, they're fun, sorry, I couldn't find that word. They're not getting funded as much, like promoters ain't trying to take a risk or take punts on underground artists as much anymore. Like, people love to be like, oh, the numbers don't lie, but like, yeah, cool. People might be getting like millions of Spotify plays and that, but like, I don't know. I know that I can body a show better than this man, bro.
Fully,
You know what I
man.
mean? But same way, that's also, it also depends if you found like a little pocket of like the algorithm or something like that. Like the whole game's changed, you know what I mean? We live in a digital world, so an underground artist, unless they actually find their niche in social media marketing and stuff like that and branding, then they're not gonna eat as well as these artists who, you know, have like managers and whatnot and like an entourage. But like, that's why I do feel the independent thing is a good way to go. Like, you know, labels can be long. They're definitely beneficial in some ways, but it's the same side as independent. Like, do you know what I mean? It's beneficial in some way, and then another way it's not. Like, you have way more freedom as an independent artist. In terms of like other places, like I've performed abroad and that before. Like I played in like Budapest.
Sick.
Played in Madrid. I played at Outlook as well.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, man, I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, being in a foreign country and rapping in the English, they might not even know what you're saying, but like the way that you're welcomed and that, it's just different to the UK, man, do you know what I mean?
Can you speak any other language?
Nah. But I've got a couple bars in other languages and stuff, but like, yeah, I got a C in Spanish after putting a tens for a bong when I was younger, so I'm happy with that. I'll spit it, it's like, hello. I've been a mellow type of fellow from the get-go, since playing Lego to SNES in the Edgeway ghetto, sped up in tenfold, Messi flex to wreck the set though, por ejemplo estoy bien con el proyecto fuego, and I think that means, for example, I've got a fire project. So I don't even really make sense, but sounds cool though.
Mate, that is sick, man. And you know what? That is that's the beauty about rapping, is that you don't necessarily need to understand the lyrics or like understand what they're saying, because it's like, you know, the flow is sick and the beats are sick. Do you know what I mean?
Trust. It's a universal language in itself. So even if there is a language barrier, like I was saying earlier, it's just a frequency of it. Do you know what I mean? So if that frequency's hitting someone in the soul when they're feeling it, then yeah, you've done your job, do you know what I'm saying?
All right, bro, so what's your typical approach to writing rhymes? Do you kind of have the beat in mind when you're rhyming it? Obviously, you mentioned there that you're a bit of a producer.
Yeah.
Do you have that in mind when you're writing?
To be honest, the approach can change. Like, if I'm sitting in a studio with someone and the beat's playing, obviously I'm writing to that beat, do you know what I mean? So I'll zone into that and lock in. On a day-to-day basis, you know, I go through phases of writing every day. Well, I'm always thinking of bars here and there. Like, you know, my mind's just racing all the time, so I'd always have like, this is why I've got a love-hate relationship with my phone, because you know how addictive being on the phone is. Like, I always tell myself I need to go back to writing on pen and paper. Yeah, like I'll come up with little schemes, or like even look at something and be like, yo, like get a bit of inspiration from that. Make sure that I write it down, because I forget it. Like, my brain's slowly deteriorating as I get older. Like, before you know it, I'll have like a little 4-bar. Yeah. And then I might want to carry that on and write to, sometimes I write in silence, or not necessarily silence, but just, you know, like I really like writing on like long journeys and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I just feel like, it just feels like kind of therapeutic to me, just like being on a train or something. I don't know, like I've wrote some mad verses on trains and like buses before, writing in my head, walking along, and then hopefully remembering everything that I've thought of and writing that on my phone, in my notes, and I've got a bag of notes, man. Like, sometimes it's too hard to even navigate. Yeah, the approach changes, man. I don't really have a specific way. Obviously, like I said, if I've got a particular beat that I'm writing to in the studio, or like that I have in mind, then yeah, I will write to that. More time I'll have a beat that, or like a particular tune that I am working on, and write to it, but I won't necessarily sit down and be writing to that. I could be creating that for like however many days it takes to think of it. Yeah, man. I'll just always be jotting it down.
Yeah, for sure. So like, what about when you're actually in the booth and like maybe there's not necessarily a beat yet, and are you gonna sort of like say to the producer like, oh, you know, try and do it like this and try and do it like that because I've got something here?
Yeah, I mean, there's been certain situations where it has been like that. You know what I mean? I really like collaborating with people in that sense. Yeah. Like if things need to be changed to benefit the lyric, or like then I'll let them know. But do you know what I mean? And that, and the fact that I produce as well, like I don't even necessarily need that with producers sometimes, because I've wrote quite a lot of tracks to my own beats, so then that kind of cuts out the middleman of having to ask that. You can just manipulate that yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. Now, the reason why I asked that is because when I used to play drums, I'd be like trying to come up with a part in the song for the rest of the band. I didn't really know the chords on the guitar, so I'd be like trying to make the sounds of the chords with my mouth.
Oh, is it?
With my mouth, and they're like trying to. It always worked out. Like we always got there in the end, but it was so long, bro. Because of that, I learned the guitar to be able to like sort of contribute when it came to writing.
Yeah, that's it, man. You want something done right, got to do it yourself. Definitely enjoy producing producing a lot, man. Like, I haven't really got the maddest setup at the moment. I'm trying to move gaff, but I make beats on my phone on this sick little app called Koala Sampler, where you can literally sample anything and like screen record stuff. But yeah, obviously I use Logic as well, and you can just literally like airdrop it to your Mac and then just put it straight into it. So yeah, it's a dope little app. Koala Sampler, make sure you sponsor me. Yeah,
that's it, mate.
I'm always shouting you out, bro. I've actually got, you know what? I'll tell you because it's going to be later down the line. But I've actually got this project that I've been working on, and it's called Keller Koala.
Keller Koala.
Yeah, it's basically just all my production and me on the bars. I might get a couple features in here and there. I already do have a couple features here and there, but like I say, it's just something for me. It's coming like a mixtape, to be fair. Like, and I'll later down the line have a like little go at like trying to come out of an order, or maybe even split it into two. But yeah, because people's attention spans are mad short these days as well. Like I've decided some of them, well, not all of them. Like some of them are like full tunes, like 3-minute tunes or whatnot. But a lot of them are just like a verse on it. But I don't want people to skip tunes. Do you know what I mean? So just if a tune's a minute long, like come on, you can sit there.
You can sit through that.
Listen to that. It's one verse, and the verse is always cold as well. So
yeah,
like,
there you go, man.
Got a bit of replay value to it as well.
There you go. Let's talk about your latest release then, man. Prophet of Doom. I've listened to it. It's a killer album. Tell me about the approach towards it, mate. Was it a complete blank canvas, and how long did it take to develop?
It was like me and Slips have known each other for a while now. Like since I've lived in Brighton for about the best part of 8 years. I knew him a little bit before. To be honest, I started making tunes with Slips maybe like a year and a half before I moved to Brighton. Like we made a tune called Mike Loud. I don't know if you've heard that with Verbs. It's me, Verbs, and Slips. The one where the video is me in the bar. I'm sitting in the basketball hoop on the seafront.
Oh, mate, whole tune, man. Bro, I'm gonna check that out now.
Yeah. Run that up, bro. It's a classic, to be fair. Low key classic banger. So yeah, that's when I started making tunes with Slips. But Prophet of Doom, bro, that goes back from. Wow, we've been making that for time. Not necessarily knew we were making this album back then, but the first tune we made for Prophet of Doom, when we didn't know we were gonna make Prophet of Doom, was in 2019, and that tune was Shelly Ann with my boy Waits. Shout out Waits. This is when I was living in a mad yard just after Eagle Court on Preston Street in a place called Ultrasound. Oh, yeah. There's like 5 of us living there. Just mate, it was like some bando, bruv. Like we didn't even have a door or anything. At one point, really? It was a scatty yard, but yeah.
What, you had all like your recording stuff there?
Yeah. I was living on the top floor as well, so like I just had my little studio in there. Yeah. Used to get ransacked with just wrong-uns and that. Like I was long. I don't miss living there, but you know, it shaped me in a way. A lot of character building. But anyway, Slips was I think he was in between moving yards, and he was staying over at our gaff for a little bit, and he had his he basically had his setup in my room, and then one night me and Waits would just mash up and yeah, Slips was playing a load of beats, and we ended up making, and my boy Tommy Mila as well, how can I forget Tommy? He does the vocals on that. And then we sat on that for years, and then lockdown happened. Slips sent me the Prophet of Doom beat, and I just thought of, I just came up with a hook. And Prophet of Doom means like pessimist, you know what I mean? Like somebody who, like, I'm not necessarily, I'm positively pessimistic. And I don't know, I kind of think that's just a cool little concept to like go off. So yeah, I made the Prophet of Doom track, obviously Slips mixed it, and then we had a little demo there for it. And then Slips got a new studio in Hove, so I'd go there and we'd just start making bangers. Sick. And then I remember Slips being like, yo, Prophet of Doom's a dope name for an album. I was like, yeah, you know what, it is. So, we locked that in, made that the title, and then yeah, it was just it's been a process. It's been like I think from like 2022, I want to say, is when we started being like, yeah, we're gonna make this album. We gradually made a load of bangers, and before you know it, we had a bunch of tracks there, and then we got to the fun part of like putting the order in, getting the features. Yeah, we had a vague idea of what we wanted to do with it, but like certain things don't necessarily unfold how you want it to unfold, so we've had to make changes, but then they've actually turned out to work better in the long run. So yeah, not everything's gonna go the way you plan, but it turns out to actually work in a beneficial way. I think it's fucking sick, man. Like, we're both proud of it, and people seem to rate it. So yeah, man, happy with it.
I mean, as I say, I've listened to it, and I fucking think it's sick, man.
Because it's a long album as well. Like it's a bit of a risk. Yeah. It's good for people going on like jogs or like going to the gym and that.
Man, 100%. Yeah, I can say that, mate. I've listened to it in the gym before.
Yeah, love that, man. Getting them final reps out with my skippy flow. Yeah.
That's it, mate. I've just had a thought actually, mate. You know the album artwork is sitting in a basketball hoop. Is that from?
That's based on that Mike Loud tune, funnily enough. And yeah, shout out my boy PWFH, People Without Fixed Habitation. He smashed it, man. He smashed it. So
did he do the artwork?
Yeah. He did the
sick.
artwork. That's my
So
brother
good.
as well. So shout out Harry, man. He's a real one for that. He actually did the Keller Koala artwork as well, but
Really?
no one's gonna see that yet. No. Shouldn't even be saying that, but fuck it, man. Fuck it.
All right, brother. Like you've already answered this question, to be fair, but I'll ask it you anyway.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Like that you can talk about. That you
Yeah,
have
like
to
I
talk
said,
about.
I've got little grimy dubsteppy EP coming out with Mind State. Yeah, got loads of features recently as well. Yeah, got a little EP with Vagrant Real Estate. Just need to put some finishing touch. Well, in terms of creating it, I need to finish one more tune. He sent me a mix back the other day of like some of them, and I was like, oh, okay, that gave me like another like spark to like, not that I was getting bored of it or nothing, because it's dope. But
Nah, I get you, bro.
it gave me like another bit of inspiration.
It's like a second wind.
Yeah,
like,
second wind is that's the word, bruv. Got loads of bits with Koza as well, and then some of my self-produced stuff as well, which I'm looking forward to sharing with people. But yeah, man, there's a whole lot of good shit in the pipeline. So yeah, I'm gassed to get it going.
Is there anything that you'd like to do that you haven't done before?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. You never truly complete as an artist.
Have you ever performed in America before?
Nah, but I'd love to, man. I feel like they'd fuck with the steez out there, bro. Like my cousin went to New York recently and he was like, yo, you need to come out here, bro. Just ciphers on the street and that, like it would be sick, bro. I'd love to just jump into a New York cipher and just shell it off.
You know, mate, they'll be calling you Vitamin G.
Vitamin G, yeah, trust me, man. Trust me.
Vitamin G.
I'd have to show them what's good, bro.